Vinyl pickups number 7. This hand thing really has a limit, doesn't it?
They look like good, strong hands. Don't let
Probably only count to 11 with those. I have to start writing on a piece of card and showing it or something, or just stop announcing what number it is because it's in the title of the video. We're off on one already. Jesus fucking Christ. If you've not watched me before, that happens a lot. Blame the rum. So vinyl pickups number 7, and it is Toska, Ode to the Author, on white vinyl. What a great album. There's not really a lot to show you this time, actually, because the cover is quite plain and simple. Looks great, mind you. The rear is exactly the same. You get no innards. Black slipcover, which is quite nice. And the vinyl is beautiful. It's absolutely beautiful. It's one of the nicest white records I own. I do have a couple of whites, which you'll get to in later videos. But it looks absolutely fantastic. And most importantly, it sounds incredible. We'll get to that in a second. There was a pressing issue with mine. It doesn't affect the way it plays, but hopefully we can show it on camera. See if we can just focus in on this. It's like a really weird blue mark there, which is kind of cool. Oh, shit. As I was saying before I kicked the camera, it's kind of cool. It gives it a little bit of character, which I quite like. So yeah, it's a beautiful white record. Now, Toska are a 3-piece, don't know why I put an R in there. The only person in existence to ever put an R in peace. Well done, Lloyd. Fucking buffoon. 3-piece progressive metal band from the UK. That consists of 3 mega YouTube personalities. Well, at least they are now. And they are Rabia Massad, Dave Hollingsworth, or Hollingworth, I always want to say Hollingsworth, don't know why, and Ben Minnow. Probably didn't pronounce any of those right, because I can barely read and write, apparently. Barely speak. Why am I doing this? I don't know. Remind me again? And it's just a killer album from start to finish. It's all instrumental, it's 3-piece, bassist, drummer, guitarist. I believe Rabia, the guitarist, plays in stereo, so you get this massive, big mono sound from the guitars alone, and the bass and the drums, they're so tight. They're one of the tightest bands I've ever heard. I would really, really love to see them live, actually. And it's all instrumental prog. Their sound is so raw and honest and huge. I mean, it is absolutely massive, particularly for a 3-piece. And they sound like nothing I've heard before, actually. It's really hard to compare them to anything. I was first introduced to Toska after watching Rob Chapman. Not to diminish the band in any way, but I would imagine that's how most people are introduced to them. So it's the members of Dorje without Rob Chapman, although Toska were around before Dorje. If you don't know Rob Chapman, where the fuck have you been? I don't know why I'm talking about him in the Toska video, it just seems natural. Again, not to diminish anything about this band or the guys within Toska, because it is an incredible piece of work. Do have the album on CD as well. I picked this up last year. It did come out in 2015, according to the back of the CD. But I only picked it up last year in 2017, so quite late to the party. The record came out last month in 2018, so 3 years after the CD. And fuck me, if you're going to listen to it at all, listen to it on vinyl. Band really understand how to use dynamics. They're one of the most dynamically filled artists I've ever heard to date, and the vinyl really makes that shine. My favourite track from the record is actually the very last song, called Infantile. And I don't know what it is about that track, but the very second riff that plays in it is catchy as fuck, and it gets stuck in my head for days. As I said at the beginning of the video, there's very little I can really say about it, other than it's really fucking good. There's nothing bad to say at all. There's nothing really to show, because although the artwork's nice, it's pretty plain. Just buy it. Go listen to it. I believe you can get the album on Bandcamp, or at least you used to be able to, as a pay what you want. But I think you should go support the artist by getting your hands on the vinyl if you can, or at least buying the CD, because they deserve the support. Anyway, cheers guys, enjoy.
winner!
I promise you, I usually don't have a marching band outside.